Pick 1212. Copy, copy here. Got you loud and clear. Green, wrong side.
The Performance Motorsports Network presents Burning Rubber Radio.
Burning rubber, baby!
I know what the prediction is. You don't even have to explain it. And here it is. Burning rubber, baby!
Now, from the White Lightning TV studios in Statesville, North Carolina, here is your host, Andy DeLay.
Burning rubber, baby. Kenny Wallace says it all. It's Burning Rubber Radio time, and we are the fastest 60 minutes in motorsports. I am your host, Andy DeLay, along beside my cohort, Wayne Owens.
Buddy.
What's up, bud?
Yeah, man, we're rocking it. We're kicking ass, taking names, and man, I love it, man. Our air wrench right before we even get kicked off today. I love it. Actually,
you and those air wrenches.
Speaking of which, you know what's funny is I went back and listened to the show again last week. You know, we set a record for the most air wrenches in a single show last week.
I believe it, because there was a lot of shit dams and all of those things that we just air wrenched when I just said them.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, I think we had what was it? I counted 12 air wrenches in last week's show.
Good Lord. Gotta love it, man. We're keeping it PC for those folks anyway.
Yeah,
Listen,
right.
On the Tan Talk Radio Network, you know, we got the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, saying you can't say those words, so that's why you get the air wrench.
Yeah.
But the folks on wingding.tv, they get all of the unfiltered.
They get every last drop of it.
Hey, before we get too far off, I want to give a shout out to Luwak Energy Coffee Drink out of Italy.
Yeah.
Sponsors, one of our sponsors here on the show, and we've got a new sponsor starting next week. It's going to be a Blue Jeans company, and we'll leave you out there. Wayne, what are you looking at over there? Do you have something?
Yeah, I was looking up their name just to make sure I had it pronounced correctly. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the name of the company is Tamoroso. But they are a designer jean company. So, you know, you got your Lee, your Wrangler, you get all that fun stuff. No, these guys here, folks, designer jeans.
Something that Wayne can't fit into. Or I.
Well, I was going to say I'd have to fart a lot to get into one of those. So
Deflate, bro. Anyway, also Monster 3X Concept Lures. If you want to go fishing, especially in the salt water here in the Tampa Bay area, if you're down here listening on Tan Talk, or anywhere if you're listening now, they're working freshwater too. That's Monster3XUSA.com. Monster 3X Concept Lures at Monster3XUSA.com.
Yeah,
so, man, what a weekend of racing. We got a new winner in the Xfinity Series, and Kyle Larson wins in the desert. I mean, it's good stuff, bud.
It really is, and we're going to touch on all of that coming up in News of the Week here in just a little bit. In fact, we've got Xfinity, we've got Cup, we've got NHRA news, MotoGP's back in headlines again this week, and Andy, I saw a picture this past weekend on X of where they're building the grandstands on the strip to get ready for the F1 Vegas race, which is coming up literally the week after NASCAR ends.
Isn't that cool? I mean, F1 has spent a lot of time this year. You know, you got Miami. They're going to be at COTA. I think they were or are this week or something like that. And then, of course, they got Vegas.
So it's funny how that works out, because it's the way the schedule works. It's going to be COTA, and then immediately the week after that is Vegas.
That makes sense that way, that, you know, logistically they're already in the States and they don't have to leave and come back. So very cool, man. We'll be covering the F1 events and how that happens.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll have the breakdown of all of that stuff when and where it happens coming up. And then also we've got your round of 8 into your Championship 4 breakdown again coming up later on in the show if things were to end this coming week at Homestead. And we'll go into all of that after our first Luwak Energy 4 and Fuel. And when we come back, we've got that News of the Week for you, folks.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
That when we help others,
we heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
we can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
is simple.
Help every child we can.
Because all children deserve joy.
And hope.
And love.
And if one child is still in need,
then there's still work to do.
Because their future
is our future.
And there's still so much they can teach us.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just
and adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
Burning Rubber Radio is social. Like the show at facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Follow on Twitter at twitter.com/BRR_PMN. And on Instagram at instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio. And, Andy, I gotta be honest with you here, bud. Championship 4 is already looking pretty sweet with Kyle Larson in it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Kyle Larson for sure in the Championship 4, and he's also good at Phoenix. So there's a really good bet for the champion right there. But yeah,
oh yeah, definitely so. And but speaking of Kyle Larson, and John actually picked him. You changed your mind last week and went with somebody else. Kind of makes you wish you didn't now, huh?
I was watching the race and I was like, man, I could have picked him, but
well, I
always pick him.
You know, it's funny. I went back and rewatched the highlight reel after the race on Sunday, and literally watching the overtake maneuvers between him and Seabell, and that final lap all the way around Vegas, it was overtake. Like they were going back and forth. Like it was. If it hadn't have been for the fact that Larson had just a little bit more speed coming off of the exit of 4, I think Seabell might have had him.
He was definitely reeling them in there in the last few laps. The last 10 laps, he cut down a 1.5 second lead from Kyle Larson. And at the finish line, you saw it coming out of turn 4. Bell had pulled up to his bumper, but catching Larson's one thing, passing Larson's another thing.
Exactly. But with that, and Larson getting the victory on that Accord at Vegas this past weekend, he is now guaranteed to be running in the Championship 4, which again, we'll be breaking all of that down in the next segment coming up here in just a little bit on the Championship 8, or the round of 8, excuse me, before the Championship 4. And but moving on now over to the Xfinity Series real quick, and we got to talk about, actually no, before we do that, did you hear there was another disqualification this past weekend?
Yeah, was it Ryan Blaney?
It was Ryan Blaney this time around. So apparently NASCAR, I guess with it being this close and being towards the end of the season and playoffs, they're really not going to pull any punches. So, last week we had, who was it get disqualified? I can't remember. Or it was Harvick that got disqualified for the window fasteners. Now you've got Blaney getting disqualified. And from what I understood is that he failed post-race inspection. They deemed that the left front shock on the number 12 car did not meet the overall specified length outlined in section 14.11.3.5 of the NASCAR rule book. So, see, now at that point, that's when you're getting a little, I will say, I give them credit for at least, now being a little more consistent as far as the disqualifications go. But in the same right, you also have to look at the fact that now they're getting a little nitpicky.
Isn't all this stuff parts bin parts?
Mm-hmm. These are all
it
parts
isn't
bin
like they're
parts.
building their own shocks anymore, or are they?
No. The shocks are still something that come from NASCAR. So at that point, if it didn't meet the required minimum length, then at that point, you might want to go talk to that parts distributor.
Or something. This isn't the first time. I want to make sure I'm right. We need to ask Jeremy Taylor about this.
Yeah, we'll talk to our boy JT over at Colleague Racing, and we'll see if things are going all right there with that shock and whatnot. But hey, at least for right now, we can say NASCAR is finally being consistent a little bit. So we can't fault them for that just yet.
Right.
So we'll get back to you on that one. But moving on over here to the Xfinity Series now, and Andy, you said it best, buddy. We got a first-time winner this past weekend in Vegas, and at his home track, no less.
Yes.
And that being one Riley Herbst. And we had him on the show a couple of years ago. Riley seemed like a pretty down-to-earth dude. Pretty cool guy, and he's been hustling not only in the Xfinity Series, but he's been hustling in the Cup Series, and it finally paid off for him, and he gets that win at Vegas.
He did, and the best thing that Stewart Haas Racing has going right now is their Xfinity Series program by far. And yeah, good job for Riley Herbst. And for a minute there, I thought, well, he's in the round of 8, but he's not. He's not in the playoffs for the Xfinity Series. So.
Right. Yeah. He was eliminated just prior to the round of 16. I think he missed the cut by, and when it came to the round of 16, I think he missed the cut by like 20 points.
Yeah. Well, at least he won, especially in front of his family at Vegas.
Yep. And you know what? Honestly, getting a win like that, in my opinion, is always better than getting a win for, championship purposes, because, you want to be able to, make that hometown impression.
I guess, a win's a win, keeps you in the seat next year.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. that and I know Monster Energy's happy about it too, so. Yeah,
they needed something. Ty Gibbs wrecked her. I guess his crew didn't put the right front tire on or wheel on right.
Again?
And the thing came off mid-race at Vegas and wrecked his car.
Poor Ty Gibbs. You know what? You know what I got for him here? I got the world's smallest violin.
Yeah, it couldn't happen to a nicer person, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. And one last one we're going to touch on here real quick before we get to our next LUEC Energy 4 and Fuel here, Andy. The Winchester 400 is upon us already, coming up here at Winchester Speedway out in Iowa. And, the funny thing is, with the Truck Series having some time off up until this coming weekend here at Homestead, Miami, Ty Majeski's been out doing his thing with the ASA Stars Tour, and right now, as far as Winchester 400 practice is concerned, he is the fastest on the charts.
Is that this coming up? No. When is that running?
So
this is Tuesday. We're recording this thing. So.
Right. So the qualifying session.
No, it's Monday. God,
Monday.
Lord, I got my mind's all
Monday,
kind of
Tuesday.
whack.
We're all around the board here. It's okay.
Yeah.
But the qualifying session was this past Saturday for the 52nd Winchester 400. That one itself was canceled due to rain in the way things ran. But per the ASA Stars National Tour rulebook, qualifying results will be based off of times from the second practice session in the event that qualifying is rained out. So that gives Ty Majeski the pole for the Winchester 400.
That's going to happen when?
Let's see. Looking over, he will start 7th on Sunday after the redraw. So apparently this was dated a little bit here. So excuse the fact that we're seeing a dated article here, folks. I did not know that this was a dated article. So Majeski had the poll for this past Sunday's Winchester 400. We'll double check on that. We'll get you the results of that Winchester 400 later on in the show. But with that said here, though, we do need to step aside. We got to take that next LUAC Energy 4 and fuel. And when we come back, Andy, time to break down the round of 8 once again, if it were to end this weekend coming up at Homestead.
All right.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
I'm Captain Jeff Figures from Florida Fishing and Adventures. Do you want to constantly catch more fish, spend less time changing baits? If so, Monster 3X baits, jigs, and scents are the answer. Monster 3X baits are tough, durable, and resistant, which allows you to catch more fish per bait. The combination of the Monster 3X lure with the Procure Baits Super Scent, you will be landing more fish right away. Whether it's the Monster 3X Ultra Soft or the X Swim lures, swim shad, paddle tails, crawfish, or the X Frog, Monster 3X, you'll always find it in my tackle box.
Visit our website at burningrubberradio.com for recipes from the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more great content. Now back to more Burning Rubber Radio.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio. And, boy, looking at the championship forward, we talked about in the last segment here, Andy, where, Kyle Larson's got his guaranteed run in the championship four here. But this past weekend with the Xfinity Series, we didn't get a chance to touch on who is currently sitting where right now. If we were to go into the championship four tomorrow, nothing actually changed, all things considered.
Yeah, all things considered, it's about the same over there.
Yeah.
But I do have one thing. Everyone's going, well, tell us the Winchester 400 results. I have it.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Gio Ruggiero won the thing. and I've never heard of him. But our boy Stephen Nasse finished third, and guess what? The Burning Rubber, baby, worked again for William Solich. He finishes fourth.
Oh, fourth.
He's in fourth. Hey, man, top 5, buddy.
Hey,
and but if those of you wondering where Ty Majeski finished, well, 21st.
Ooh.
Oh, so apparently he didn't have the race that he wanted to have.
I was gonna say that's a heck of a disappointment there. Starts on the pole because of practice times and literally just goes zip all the way back.
Flush.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I need to. You're giving me ideas for more sounders to throw in.
Oh, there you go.
Imagine that one, folks. You're listening to Burning Rubber Radio, and all of a sudden all you hear is.
Yeah, really.
We love you guys. We love you. I'm just saying. All right, so getting ready here to break down all of the things after Vegas, and if things were to end this weekend, coming up at Homestead Miami Speedway down in Miami, Florida. Well, actually, it's technically it's not Miami.
It's Homestead.
Florida. Yeah, it's Homestead, Florida. It was Dade County, Miami-Dade County.
Yeah, right.
And actually, in your backyard there, Andy.
You're 4 hours away, backyard.
Hey, close enough, right?
I'm in Tampa, St. Pete area, man. That's way away.
Well, I mean, hey, look at it this way. When we go to Daytona, it's 2 hours for you as well. So
I'll take that over 4 hours.
All right, but either way, breaking down here the round of 8 coming into Homestead, Miami this weekend here. If things were to end as it sits right now, of course, we know Kyle Larson has a guaranteed berth into the Championship 4. William Byron is now sitting in second place. Denny Hamlin in third. And Martin Truex Jr., after his run this past weekend, sits in fourth position.
How? Truex has been struggling with the capital S. I mean, he was struggling on the Roval. He was struggling yesterday to try. He'd had no speed in the 19 at all. He has to be frustrated.
I guarantee you he's frustrated, but you have to look at the big picture. He's got wins this year, plus he's got stage wins and everything else. So those playoff points are what's keeping him where he's at right now.
It has to be, because it isn't his blazing speed and whipping everyone's ass.
I go back to thinking about that duck. I'm whipping somebody. Never mind.
Okay.
But yeah, either which way, it's a ringtone I heard years ago. It's funnier, don't get out. But Kyle Larson, William Byron, Denny, and then Martin Truex. So we're still looking at the Hendrick versus Gibbs show when it comes to getting everything situated for the Championship 4. Even with the second place run yesterday, Seabell would still be on the outside looking in right now. 3 points below the cut line. Tyler Reddick right now is 15 points below the cut line. Chris Buescher, 23 points below the cut line. And then Ryan Blaney with the disqualification yesterday now sits 56 points below the cut line.
Stick a fork in him. He's done.
Unless he can
unless he wins at Homestead this weekend. I tell you, the real hope for Martin Truex Jr. is Martinsville, because he's really strong at Martinsville.
Oh, God,
Heck, he could be in a pedal car at Martinsville and run up front with these guys. So I'm thinking Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr., if Blaney gets lucky and pulls one out at Homestead, Miami, and, of course, Denny Hamlin is the sleeper.
Yeah, I would say Denny Hamlin would be the sleeper. I mean, if I had to call it though, I'm going to say Denny probably gets eliminated because Buescher also runs fairly decent at Homestead, Miami. So even if Ryan Blaney doesn't manage to do anything, at 23 points below the cut line, all it would take is a couple of stage wins. And of course, obviously, a good solid top 10 finish at Homestead, Miami, and Chris could easily be inside that top 4 going into possibly going into Phoenix.
That's true. So I actually think Chris has a better chance the way he's been running this year than Blaney does.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah. So if anything, Kyle Larson, William Byron, I'm going to say Martin Truex Jr. and Chris Buescher for the top 4 if we were to call it at the end of Homestead, Miami, and then move on to the Championship 4 at Phoenix. But obviously we're not, because we still have Martinsville the week after that. So, things are the way they are. We'll see how they play out. this weekend coming up at Homestead, Miami. Now, as far as the Xfinity Series is concerned here, again, as we mentioned, pretty much with Riley Herbst getting the victory this past weekend at Vegas, nothing changes as far as your top four when it comes to if they were to end it this weekend at Homestead, Miami and go straight to the Championship 4. John Hunter Nemechek, Justin Allgaier, Austin Hill, and then Cole Custer are still sitting in your top four positions here. But to update the brackets for everybody, and this will actually show you how far off people actually are. Chandler Smith right now, 15 points below the cut line. Sam Mayer, who was in the top four after last week's race at the Roval, excuse me.
Yep.
After coming into the Championship 4 possibility after the Roval, he is now 16 points below the cut line. Sammy Smith, who is also in the top four, gets cut down. He is now 35 points outside of the Championship 4. And then Sheldon Creed is going to need to pretty much win or not get in at 41 points below the cut line to move over to the Championship 4 at Phoenix. So I'm going to say, Xfinity-wise, if I were to pick my Championship 4 here right now, if it were to end this weekend at Homestead, just based on what I saw this past weekend at Vegas, I'm going to say John Hunter Nemechek, Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, and dark horse, Sam Mayer.
Okay, yeah, Sam Mayer's been running strong, and I agree with the rest. So, that's good stuff. Sheldon Creed, though, that poor guy, what happened with him at Richard Childress Racing is just I shake my head. And if folks don't know, Richard Childress came out and said that Sheldon Creed will no longer be with the team at the end of the season. And Sheldon said, nope, fuck you. I'm no longer going to be with you at the end of the season. So, my Lord, my phone's ringing right in the middle of my show.
I was gonna say, buddy, you got the studio line over there next to you this weekend, huh?
Oh my Lord. Anyway, and what's so sad about it is Sheldon Creed's been running so well in the Xfinity Series this year. The guy's really putting on a good show and mediocre equipment because RCR isn't the cream of the crop stuff anymore.
So you're saying that Sheldon got cut from the car, but the question is why?
Well, because Ty is going to be back in the car. Pop's putting his grandson. I'm sure it's not officially been announced yet, but you can take this to the bank that Ty Dillon will be back in this car next year for the Xfinity Series. You heard it here first, folks.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait for the offseason to get the announcement for sure, but if that's the case, I hope Ty does better in Xfinity than he's done in Cup.
Well, come on. Spire isn't junk, but it's not top 10 either.
Well, it's not top 10 all the time, but you look at somebody like Corey LaJoie, Corey, and we've known Corey for years, dating all the way back to when he was knee-high to a grasshopper. And the fact is, Corey's got the talent to be racing. And Corey has put that car up in the top 10 on multiple occasions. And
he's done a great job.
Right. So at that point, with the Gen 7 car, it has literally evened out the playing field. So now, again, as we mentioned last week with Racecraft and everything like that, now it is all about the talent of the driver.
Yeah, I agree.
And so at this point, I know Ty Dillon has talent, but he needs to start showing it because that's what's doing him in more so than anything.
Yeah, neither of the Dillons have much talent, if you ask me, but that's subjective, and I'm sure there's folks out there that have just turned me off their radio for saying that, but hey.
Well, really, in theory, they do have talent. They're better at stand-up comedy than they are racing. Oops, did I say
didn't know that. Anyway, man, so there you go. Pop. Richard Childress is going to put him back in that car. You watch.
Yep. Time will tell. We'll see what happens with the official announcement later on this year. But with that said, though, that breaks down all of the championship funness after Las Vegas this past weekend here. Heading into Homestead, again, the race for the Xfinity Series will be October the 21st. It'll be a doubleheader with the Craftsman Truck Series, so you'll get both Xfinity and trucks on Saturday the 21st. So folks listening to us on the Tan Talk Radio Network, coming up here in 2 hours, you will get the Xfinity Series, and the truck race will be soon to follow after that. And then for the NASCAR Cup Series, they will be on Sunday the 22nd at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time from Homestead Miami Speedway.
So when are they running the Xfinity Series and the trucks? When do they kick off?
So Xfinity is kicking off Saturday, October the 21st, so this coming Saturday at 3 p.m.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was a different time. Good. Thanks for letting me know.
I was gonna say you gotta go turn it on the TV after you get off being cop for a day, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
By the way, Kansas City PD, we salute you for everything, and this goes to all law enforcement officers as well. We salute you for everything.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And but with that said, here, folks, we've got to step aside. We've got to take that next LUAC Energy Foreign Fuel, and when we come back here, Andy, you know what time it is?
Time to eat, baby.
Yeah, it is. No, he actually got it right this time. I didn't fart, thank God. NASCAR chef John Dix, when we come back, baby.
Yeah.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
This is Burning Rubber Radio. Now let's get cooking in the kitchen with the NASCAR chef, John Dix.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio. And Andy, it is that time, brother. You smell what's cooking?
I do smell something. Is that? But anyway,
that might be the special guest I've got over here with me.
That's TMI, bro. I don't need to go into your guest at your house again and all that stuff. Anyway, it's time for the NASCAR chef.
It sure is, brother. NASCAR chef John Dix, you're on the horde. What is good, buddy?
Hey guys, burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
All right, so John, this week you got something healthy yet sweet and enjoyable for us, huh?
Yeah, Wayne, you know, it's getting that time of year, and I'm going to start doing some festive Christmas and Thanksgiving kind of recipes. This is a pumpkin smoothie.
All right. Well, folks, it is on screen, and again, we're still working on getting the side picture working with everything.
Yeah, tater tots and chicken nuggets or whatever that is up there.
Tater tots and pumpkin smoothies, John. Hit us with the pumpkin smoothie this week, buddy.
Okay, guys, we're going to start with 1 banana, 1 small cup of Greek yogurt, a half a cup of pumpkin puree, however you want to pronounce it, a half a cup of milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and you want a little nutmeg, just a pinch of it for the top of the drink, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Very easy, guys, okay? You can just put all those ingredients in a blender, blend it until it's smooth, pour it in a cup, put your little pinch of nutmeg on it, and enjoy it.
Oh, man. Well, that just got added to the clean eating diet.
That tastes good, I know, but it smells good, I'm sure, too.
Oh.
Better than what waffles out of Wayne's Corner. And anyway, folks, if you want to see the recipe and you're listening to us on the radio, you can go to wingding.tv. That's wingding.tv, or on Roku Fire Stick. You can find Wingding, and then go to the Burning Rubber Radio channel, and there we are, and there's your recipe. And, of course, if you want to get in touch with the NASCAR chef, you can drop them a line at racing, RACING, the number 2, thegrill@gmail.com.
Yep, you most certainly can. And John, what are we thinking next week? Because we know Halloween's right around the corner. Are we thinking something maybe candy corn related for those weird people out there that like candy corn?
What?
Next week, Wayne, I have a surprise moonshine recipe.
Oh, yeah. You must have been talking to Ricky Byers lately or something. If you got some moonshine.
Oh my Lord! Yeah, he definitely must have been talking to old Ricky Byers, man. By the way, folks, if you're new to the whole Burning Rubber Radio thing, one of these days we're gonna start pulling out archives of interviews and other things like that. We're gonna let you guys hear some of those older interviews from back at the days of WANV and everything like that. And God knows Ricky Byers, we love him to death, but he talks like that.
I'm Ricky Byers.
So, and that's just a forewarning. He talks like that because, sadly, due to cancer, he is missing his vocal cords. So he does sound very raspy when you hear him talk on the radio. But God knows there was one time that it was him and Charles Robinson and Andy talking about chainsaws and other things like that. Like, it was just a whole mess.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, John, you got to tell Ricky Byers we talked about him for the first time in 10 years.
Yeah, I will.
Oh, man. Ricky, we love you, brother. We love you, brother.
We do.
But with that said here, John, you know we can't let you end the segment without those 3 famous words, brother.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber.
Burning rubber, baby. Hey, also, folks, before we let the NASCAR chef go, he is going to be joining us on video here very shortly, so you can see him, Wayne, and I on wingding.tv, and of course Roku Fire Stick Wingding, and we'll be sure to scare all the roaches away.
I was going to say we're just adding to the ability of breaking a lot of TVs now.
I hear that. Should be next week, guys.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, then, folks, we got something to look forward to. Go ahead and call Best Buy. Pre-order you a new TV starting next week.
Yeah, Lord, we already rip people's speakers in their cars, you know.
Right.
Because you rip everything else in that corner, so to speak.
Well, we'll just leave it at that, folks.
Yeah, we will.
With that said here, we are going to step aside, take our final LUAC Energy 4 and Fuel of the show here, get one last good look at the pumpkin smoothie recipe of the week from the NASCAR chef, John Dix. And with that said here, guys, again, we're going to take that final LUAC Energy 4 and Fuel, and when we come back, some final news of the week, including some NHRA, MotoGP, and we have got IMSA news for you from Petit Le Mans.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
That when we help others,
we heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
we can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
is simple.
Help every child we can.
Because all children deserve joy.
And hope.
And love.
And if one child is still in need,
then there's still work to do.
Because their future
is our future.
And there's still so much they can teach us.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Put your phone on D&D, that means do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Burning Rubber Radio is social. Like the show at facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Follow on Twitter at twitter.com/BRR_PMN. And on Instagram at instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio. And Andy, man, news of the week, round 2, buddy. We got a chock full load even for this sound.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever you just said didn't make any sense, but all right, let's do this.
In other words, we are chock full of news for the second half of all of our fun news of the week that we talk about here on the show. And that being one thing, and, Tony Stewart Racing, we got to touch on it because, Stewart-Haas has not had a great year when it comes to the NASCAR side of things, nor did they have a very good weekend this past weekend when it came to or 2 weeks ago when it came to the NHRA. This week, on the other hand, Andy, they turned it around, and even though Stewart-Haas did not do well in NASCAR, Tony Stewart Racing's Leah Pruitt and Matt Hagan both prevail in the Texas Fall Nationals.
Well, good for them. I'm telling you, Leah Pruitt just, barely got beat. Mm-hmm. They had the same reaction time at last week. The last race with, it wasn't Hagan. Who was that? That was Schumacher? Somebody. Anyway, she lost by a car length.
Not even that. It was, it was like a half a nose.
Yeah, something.
And
so she won this week, huh?
Yep, she won this week at the Texas Fall Nationals. Matt Hagan in Funny Car got his victory as well. And then from the Pro Stock motorcycle side of things here, Erica Enders got herself a win.
Oh, wow.
So and again, Erica Enders, hands down, one of the best Pro Stock racers you're going to find. And I'm not just saying that because I've talked to her. I'm saying that because she is legitimately somebody who's been around for years and knows what's up in the Pro Stock division.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as we mentioned, Top Fuel, Leah Pruitt gets the win there. Matt Hagan gets the win at Funny Car. Pro Stock motorcycles here. This has been something that was rather interesting, Andy, because Gage Herrera, we talked about him a couple of weeks ago. He doesn't get mentioned very much when it comes to the news, but not only did Gage Herrera set a qualifying ET record at the Texas Fall Nationals, he also gets himself a win over Eddie Krawiec in the final round with a run of 6.64 seconds at 203.3 miles per hour. Now, you're probably wondering what I'm talking about by the qualifying record here. He shattered the national ET record at the Fall Nationals this past weekend. And actually, ironically, Herrera is also the points leader in Pro Stock Motorcycles as well. He made the quickest run in class on Saturday at the Texas Motorplex, setting the national record and also breaking the category mark for the most number one qualifiers in a single season. And I'm trying to find the exact elapsed time here. They had it, but for whatever reason, they are hiding it from me now. Double check that.
Oh, well, Gage Herrera has been rocking everyone's
Actually, here we go.
socks, man.
Here we go. So his record ET at Texas for national, 6.627 seconds at 204 miles per hour on one of those Ninja bikes.
That's crazy.
So, yeah. Needless to say, we talk about, top fuel and top alcohol and everything running, 330, 340 plus miles per hour. Pro Stock Motorcycles, the fact that these Ninja bikes are running that fast when technically by default in normal production models, you might see them maybe top out at 120, 130, maybe 140. So you're talking every bit of anywhere between 60 to 80 miles an hour faster via drag car.
Yeah, okay. I believe you.
So interesting all the way around here. But moving on now over to the world of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship here this past weekend. They were down at Petit Le Mans in Raceway at WeatherTech, or not WeatherTech Raceway. I'm thinking of Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta.
Road Atlanta.
Yeah, they were down there at Road Atlanta this past weekend down in Brazelton, Georgia. And Acura gets the overall class win. But Cadillac gets the big title this past weekend at Petit Le Mans.
I didn't even know they were running that this weekend. I usually like to take a peek at that.
Mm-hmm.
And I want does NASCAR still own that track?
Road Atlanta? No,
Because I know NASCAR was thinking about running there, as was IndyCar, but that last turn at the start-finish line does not have any runoff there. So
right.
I was just wondering if it was still being thought of.
I haven't heard if anything's been thought of yet, but then again, obviously time will tell to see what actually happens with the course. And further speaking of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship here, on the GT side of things, Mercedes and Lamborghini claim their honors in both GT classes this past weekend rather, at Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta, and Petit Le Mans. So some good stuff for those guys there. And again, Road Atlanta, it's a great track. Do I think it could be a Cup Series track? No, maybe not a Cup track, but at the very least, maybe an Xfinity track.
Yeah, I'd like to see them there. Again, they'd have to work out that runoff problem there at the start-finish line. But other than that, I think it's a great track. It's fun to run on iRacing. But of course, I've covered a bunch of Hoosier Super Tour races there. But
I think I remember one year when I talked to you when you were covering the Super Tour. It was something where you guys were out in like turn 8 or turn 10 or something like that, and the wind was blowing so hard, even with jackets on, you were still like icicles.
Oh my gosh!
I remember.
You're not kidding. That place in VIR, gosh, I've frozen into icicles there too.
Oh yeah, yep. I remember those days of VIR too.
Circuit of the Americas. Now that one is where I turned into an icicle, thawed out, and then turned into an icicle.
I was going to say you double sickled.
Oh my gosh! Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh man, we love our road course racing. though. I mean, it's something fun, especially with the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. But and you know what, Andy? Speaking of tracks coming back too, I'll touch on this before we get over to the USAC series here. I actually seen something the other day on X with Richard Petty, where Richard is heavily lobbying NASCAR to potentially bring in Rockingham Speedway again, and it's not just him now. You've got at least 3, 4, 5 other people that are really wanting to see Rockingham make a return.
I saw that, and the last time NASCAR ran at Rockingham, I covered that race. It was the Truck Series back in 2013. And I love that track. It's a great place to watch a race, great place if you're the driver, to run at. And it's also fun to cover the race there. And of course, you can remember Rockingham Speedway. What was that, 2009? We covered the ARCA Championship there with Justin Lofton and Parker Kligerman running for the championship. And there's another icicle fest.
Yeah.
We froze to death on top of the media center there.
Yep, I remember that one too. And God knows, idiot me forgot ear protection that day too. And that was the day I come down to the media center, and I'm like,
yeah.
But speaking of 2013, wasn't that the Truck Series race where you got smacked in the ambag too?
Oh, from Johnny Sauter's kid?
Yep.
Oh my God! On national TV in front of it, God and everybody, as the planes were flying over, Johnny Sauter's kid reaches around and hits me right in the nads. Oh my God!
That was funny as all get out.
I didn't think it was funny.
Well, I mean, at the time you didn't think it was funny, but now we laugh about it because we go back
I do.
We go back, we look at it, and when the kid comes back, Andy all of a sudden is like,
You see a guy up, because I was standing out there. You know how this team stand in line out there on pit roads. Johnny Sauter's like, "Come here, man," because I was up there looking at something, and they started this, and I was like walking around, and Sauter's like, "Come on over here, stand by me." So I did, and this little kid was there, and this kid looked up at me and decided to give me a knuckle sandwich right in the freaking nads. So on TV, you see in Johnny's line, you see this one guy, me, bending over on his knees. I think I was praying or something.
It's the memories we have of this show, folks.
Oh my gosh, we got stories to tell, man.
Which, by the way, folks, we also heard from the NASCAR chef too. The test for Alex Peñon has been moved back approximately a week. As of right now, it is pending. So when we have further confirmation on the update of that, we will let you know. So most likely the show that we were thinking was going to be right after the championship week at Phoenix, where we were going to tape it during the test at Motor Mile Speedway. Most likely that is going to be a week delayed. But again, we will let folks know as we get information on that one. And moving on.
That's going to be cool because Ron Hornaday is going to be there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Ron Hornaday.
And you said something about Noah Gragson may be there?
Rumor has it Noah's test, I think, is either going to be the same week or possibly somewhere else. One way or another, we may see if we can talk Ron into bringing Noah in a week early. And then kind of go from there, work a little magic and see if we can have Noah Gragson on.
I'd like to talk to Noah. There's a lot of questions I have for him.
That there are. But moving on over into the world of USAC now here, and Cody Swanson this past weekend here, Andy, gets himself an IRP finale title, but Blake Seavey secures the Silver Crown title for 2023. So some good stuff for the folks over in the USAC Midget Series, and man, couldn't ask for a better thing, seeing Cody Swanson get the win and Blake Seavey getting the Silver Crown title for 23.
I agree with you. Good for them.
And one last bit, or actually a couple last bits of news here before we get on into picks for Homestead Miami this week here. MotoGP Francesco Bagnaia gets a win this past weekend in the Indonesian Grand Prix, so he's back doing his moves and making his magic happen in MotoGP. So great stuff for Francesco Bagnaia. And actually, that is actually all of the news that we have for the week when it comes to Burning Rubber Radio here. So with that, we're going to scooch on into picks. And Andy, as per usual, my friend, you have pick numero uno.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Joey Logano. He's been a sleeper here, and that's my pick. I think that he usually runs really good at Homestead Miami, and this is one way that Logano can put himself into the championship four.
Actually, yeah, because a win would guarantee him a seat, if I'm not mistaken here.
It would.
Actually, no, it would not. He got eliminated.
Wait, no, he got eliminated. What am I saying?
Yeah, he got eliminated. So
But I still think he's going to win.
All right, well, fair enough. So Joey Logano goes for Andy DeLay. I am going to go with, the guy who is really just been kicking butt and taking names this year, and he's had a stellar year with RFK Racing.
Byram. Oh, no. I thought you were going to say Willie B.
No. Heck no. I'm going Chris Buescher.
Yeah, it's always a good pick and a popular one here, boy.
Right, exactly. And then looking over final picks here, Taylor got him a pick in this week. Tyler Reddick is going to be his choice for coming up this weekend at Homestead, Miami. And, of course, Zach Murtis did not get a pick in, so he gets Josh Bilicki.
Oh, Lord. Did Bobby Dale Earnhardt get something in this weekend?
Nope, he didn't get one in either. So I'm gonna give him Josh Bilicki as well. So
yes.
Yep. So Bobby Dale, you gotta learn, buddy. You gotta get your picks in on time, son. And NASCAR chef John Dix, you have the final pick of the week, sir.
Well, guys, Martin Truex had a good start at the beginning of the year, and I think he's going to come back through because he always runs good there at Homestead. So my pick is the number 19 Truex car.
All right. Well, we've got a pretty good spread all the way across the board then this week for picks here. So we'll see what happens this Sunday coming up at Homestead Miami Speedway. And but with that said, Andy, can you believe we're already at the end of the show again?
Yeah, a lot of folks are like, yes, thank God, but not us.
Man,
we could talk for 2 hours.
Oh God, we could. Well, yeah, don't tempt me. I could talk for 6.
Probably.
But with that said here, folks, we have got to get ourselves out of here for another week of Burning Rubber Radio on all of our wonderful affiliate radio stations, Tan Talk Radio Network, Sunshine 96.7 FM, Cool Winds Radio, all over the U.S., the world, and on wingding.tv, on your Roku, your Fire Stick, all that great stuff. For Andy DeLay, the NASCAR chef John Dix, Bobby Dale Earnhardt, Taylor Burris, Zachary Murders, Andy DeLay, I'm producer Wayne. We love you guys. Until next week, Burning Rubber, baby!
Burning Rubber, baby!
Burning Rubber Radio is a production of the Performance Motorsports Network in association with the White Lightning TV studios in Statesville, North Carolina. This week's episode was produced by Wayne Owens. Remember to visit burningrubberradio.com for news, recipes, and more great content. Burning Rubber Radio may also be downloaded from our podcast site, pmn2.com, or from Spotify, iTunes, or Google Podcasts. The opinions expressed on this show are those of the hosts and guests and do not reflect those of the Performance Motorsports Network or the Scorpion Radio Group. Any use of the accounts or descriptions contained in this broadcast must be with the express written permission of the Performance Motorsports Network or the Scorpion Radio Group.